Okay.
All right. Hold on.
Hey, this is.
I'm gonna call. I'm gonna count you in. Okay. Here we go. Recording in 5, 4, 3.
Hey, this is Colin.
This is John-Angus.
We're from a band called the Trews, and this is our debut on the Toronto Mic podcast.
What up, Mike? Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1795 of Toronto Mic'd, proudly brought to you by retrofestive.ca, Canada's pop culture and Christmas store. Great Lakes Brewery. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Blue Sky Agency. Ask Doug Mills about how Silent delivers the space to focus, collaborate, and recharge. Nick Iones. He's the host of Building Toronto Skyline and Building Success, 2 podcasts you ought to listen to. Kindling. Go to shopkindling.ca for free 1-hour cannabis delivery. Recyclemyelectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. And Ridley Funeral Home, pillars of the community since 1921. Today, making their Toronto Mic'd debut, it's vocalist Colin MacDonald and guitarist John-Angus MacDonald from the Trews. How are you guys doing today?
Doing real good.
Doing good, Mike. Thanks for having us.
What a pleasure. So I'll tell you right off the bat, I was on, are you on Cape Breton or in Cape Breton?
On PEI. You know, if you ever meet an islander, they say on PEI. They don't say in PEI.
But you're in Cape Breton.
Cape Breton, I've never heard on Cape Breton. It's usually in. It's also attached by way of the causeway now, so it's not. It's sort of linked to the mainland.
Mm-hmm. So when the Tragically Hip had their final concert in Kingston, I was watching it from an Airbnb in Ingonish.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
but you guys are not from Ingonish.
No.
Antigonish, different Ganesh.
So I got a dumb question. Like, what is so there's Ingonish where I was, and there's Antigonish where you guys are from.
Yeah.
Does Ganesh mean something?
I don't want to mess
Tough questions
this up,
for you guys.
but it's not English, right? It's Antigonish. Is it
Gaelic?
It might be Gaelic, but it also I heard there's some kind of indigenous origins to the word too. And now I have to grab my Wikipedia or something and look it up.
Is there any relation at all between Ingonish and Antigonish other than the fact that the names are similar?
I think it's just a Ganesh thing. I don't know.
Almost certainly, but you're asking the wrong guys. I haven't, we're very proud of our Blue Nose roots, right. But I have not lived in Nova Scotia since the year 2000. I go back all the time. My mom is there, my sister is there, and we love to tour there, obviously. But it hasn't been home for a very long time. I've lived more of my life in Ontario than I did in Nova Scotia at this point.
Because you guys are Hammer guys now. You're from the Hamilton.
Hammeroids.
We're like a nomadic Canadian rock band. We've called many different places home over the years. And Hamilton's been the spot. Like John-Angus and Jack moved there 2013, 2014, and I made the move over the pandemic. And love Hamilton.
I was going to say, the unofficial mayor of Hamilton is Tom Wilson, right?
Yes, sir.
Sure, he's my neighbor. Ish. We live in the same hood. His grandson and my son were at school together at Earl Kitchener Elementary. That's cool. Yeah, you got the Junk House Strays album.
My Strays vinyl, yeah.
We've been,
over here, yeah.
Cool.
Colin and myself have been to Tom's house. He does like little incubator songwriting sessions where he kind of just tries to mix and match all of his friends. And he put us in a room with Colin James and him and Jesse O'Brien.
Yeah.
He's also
and his son Thompson.
Oh, Thompson was there, and he gets Tara Lightfoot in the mix, and
Wow.
He's great. He really is the sort of nexus of the Hamilton music scene.
Yeah.
He's like the great connector.
Yes,
he is. Yeah, he is.
Very much so.
I'm working on a parody song to the tune of The Great Pretender. It'll be The Great Connector.
I love it.
I'm working on it. So
That's a good idea.
Stick with me. So, gentlemen, we're going to go back, and then I want to talk about the new stuff, and then we'll go back again to talk about some of the big jams you can't avoid on Canadian radio, these big Trews jams. But a question came in for you.
Uh-oh.
And it's funny, I didn't even I'm looking now, I don't have the person who wrote this question, but it came to me on Blue Sky. But it said, when was the last time the Trews covered Bohemian Rhapsody, and were they still called Trouser?
Oh, wow. We did cover it a lot. When we started, we were called One-Eyed Trouser because we were Monty Python fans.
Sure.
And then we shortened it to Trouser. And one of our big moments when we were like a cover band trying to get attention, like throwing in originals, is we would tackle these like kind of very ambitious covers. And one of them was Bohemian Rhapsody. And for whatever reason, it was not a perfect version. Queen's an incredible band.
Well, that's really a studio jam. Like, that's not really meant to be done
jam.
live.
Queen never did the middle section, but we attempted it.
We tried to make it sound like The Who during A Quick One While He's Away. So we like made it like kind of punky in that way. Like, we didn't try to make it really operatic. But yeah, I think people were just blown away by the brazenness of it.
Sure.
And speaking of brazen, I think the last time we performed it was actually on a national broadcast New Year's Eve show in front of 55,000 people in Niagara Falls. Wow. We did it. We were opening for Collective Soul, and there's a version of it online. I can't speak to the quality.
We have done it as the Trews.
We have done it as the Trews. Well, this begs the question, where does the name the Trews come from?
Well,
next question.
Yeah. So it started with One-Eyed Trouser when we were starting out as a band. Actually, One-Eyed Trouser Snake. And then it was One-Eyed Trouser. And then when we moved to Ontario, we had a manager out of Buffalo. It was like, yeah, One-Eyed Trouser, those like eyed bands are kind of passe. It was like 2000. And he's like, you should just shorten it to Trouser. And so we went around as Trouser for a couple years. And then on the eve of releasing our very first EP, produced by Gordie Johnson of Big Sugar, in 2002, we got a cease and desist letter. And the first question was, what's a cease and desist letter?
Right.
Because we were all young and we had no money and we had no reason to get lawyers involved.
Certainly no lawyers. Yeah.
And there was a Mississauga acid jazz band. Maybe you're listening. If not, they said, you're not allowed to use our name. We had it first and we have it copyrighted. So we were in a mad dash to find a name for the band in 24 hours. And we got a call from Jack Siprick's mother, Jean. And she goes, well, if you're not going to call yourselves Trouser, why don't you call yourselves the Trews? It's spelled Trews. It means the same thing as trouser. And it's kind of got a cool ring to it. And we put that in 24 hours. We put that as the name of our band, and our EP came out. And of course, when you put out your first EP, you don't know if you're going to do another one. It's just one thing at a time. So that's how the name came about.
Okay, now here's an interesting confluence of events here. It's just 1 week ago today, the lead vocalist and lead guitarist for Finger 11 was in the same seats you're in right now. Mm-hmm. And they got their big break because of a contest on 97.7 Hits FM.
That's true.
And that's brilliant. Yeah, and same as you, right? And I will tell you guys, because I want the story from you guys now, but I had Paulie Morris on the program to talk about building the White House of Rock at Hits 97.7. And we spent quite a bit of time talking about how 97.7 helped break the Trews.
Oh, big time.
So can you, share the how 97.7 played a role in breaking you guys?
A, forever grateful. And B, we entered the Rock Search in 2002. And the biggest thing about winning that is they spin your song for a few weeks after winning it. And if the song's any good, people start reacting to it. And that's what happened to us. We had a song called Fleeting Trust off our EP that they started spinning over the summer of 2002. And I remember getting a phone call from our manager at the time, Larry Wannegas, saying, oh, you guys are actually getting played like 3-4 times a day. And that really helped launch the band. And they were like the first national station to get behind us. And we're not the first band they did that with. Like, they minted Finger 11 and then the Glorious Sons. And I think even like My Darkest Days and stuff.
Monster Truck.
Monster Truck.
Right. They've done it over and over again. In fact, when the Sons, this is, fast forward a bunch of years later, and I was producing them, and they were looking for, we had these songs recorded, and they were looking for some kind of entry point into the industry. And I was like, why don't you enter into Rock Search? Because it really did work for us. And I think we had to kind of fudge the where are they from on the application. We just said they're from Southern Ontario, which is not strictly untrue. And they won, and then their song Mama went into the charts, and the rest is sort of history from there. But
well, that's a perfect segue to talk about the new stuff before I go back and talk about some of the older stuff, because you mentioned the Glorious Sons. So how are the Glorious Sons involved in the Bloody Light?
Well, Brett and Jay, the brothers from that band, the singer and the guitar player, co-produced the album with us. We were in, we were in this phase of making our record where we had a bunch of good stuff, but maybe we weren't feeling like we had the great stuff. And I was bouncing, both myself and Colin were bouncing things off of Brett. And Brett is honest to a fault sometimes, brutally honest. And he's like, yeah, I don't think you guys have your record yet. He's like, give me one shot at producing a song. And, which is kind of a weird role reversal because I was their producer for a long time, but he was starting to show interest in that side of the glass. And I was like, yeah, go for it. We're not too precious. We've worked with many, many different folks over the years. And he came with an idea called The Bloody Light, and we kind of co-wrote it all together, and then we recorded it together, and we were all looking around going, well, this feels right. So let's do some more. And then we just took it one song at a time until we had a 12-song album finished.
And this is your 8th studio album.
Mm-hmm.
Available now. I see it was released on October 24th.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned produced by Brett and Jay from the Glorious Sons. Maybe, if you don't mind, I'll play a little bit of some of the new music, and then you can tell me a little bit more about how it all came together, and then we're going to go in the time machine and go back, because
Okay.
I've been holding on to questions for years here, so
Okay.
I got to get my answers here. So here, let's go hear some new Trews.
I'm sick and tired of feeling sick and tired all the time, and all my worst fears coming to mind, waking up over my head. I'm in deep, I made my own bed. Everything feels like a giant regret when you're up to your ears in heartache and debt. I took a shower, stared at the drain, wiped the mirror, and there was my face. The freedom lies on the other side.
Sounds big, man. This is good. I don't mean to act surprised here, but tell me, well, here, before you say a word, actually, John-Angus, you and I were going to pop a Great Lakes beer here. So
nice.
Grab your light lager, and right in front of that mic, at the count of 3 here, right? So 3, 2. All right, cheers to you.
Cheers.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
I've got my burst here. Shout out to Great Lakes Beer. You two gentlemen, I've got fresh beer going home with you, back to the Hammer.
Oh, that's so
Thank
sweet.
you.
Absolutely. But tell me about the breakdown. Sounds great in the headphones.
It was a number 1 at Rock Radio for us this year, which is our first in a while, which felt really good. It was one of the 4th or 5th songs we worked on with Brett and Jay, but it was a song that I had from the spring of 22 when I was just writing in my apartment in Hamilton. And we finally got a big old chorus for it sometime in July 2024 when Brett and I were sitting around trying to finish it, and he said, what's this song about? I'm like, I guess it's about having a breakdown, so let's call it The Breakdown. And this is the song. It's kind of got a Beatley / East Coast kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, there's a titch of Beatles in there for sure. But it just sounds kind of epic, right? It kind of swells, and it'll sound great live.
Oh yeah, it's been great live. So we're happy with it.
So question for you is, now that, Q107's sort of doing like a greatest hits type thing, like they're chasing Boom or something like that, right? So then I'm wondering, where do we get to hear new music from the Trews in the GTA? Is it really 97.7 and The Rock at Oshawa?
The Rock out of Oshawa. There's the Barrie one.
95.
Rock 95. There's also our
7.9.
Our hometown, Y108.
Of course,
that Hamilton's been a huge supporter and hits. The Edge in Toronto has played it a few times, so you'll hear it around. Radio does not wield as much power as it once did. Case in point, we're sitting in a podcast studio, but it still means a lot, especially to us, to have seen the support we saw from coast to coast on what is like our 22nd or 23rd top 10 single. It's like to see that kind of support over the length of time that we've had from radio. We don't take it for granted, and we realize how lucky we are to have it.
Yeah.
another thing strikes me. Okay, so thoughts will hit my head and I'll just spit them out. I don't know if they do that on radio, but they probably have a better filter there. But like One-Eyed Trousers, so it's from Monty Python, right? You mentioned. Okay,
yeah.
it's also it's a dick reference, right? One-Eyed Trousers.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But
yeah.
Finger 11 is a dick reference.
It
right?
is. I know. I just thought of that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you name like that band
Get
was.
Scott and James back here. We'll have a nice
Well,
conversation.
they deny it, eh? I call them out on it, but they
Yeah.
kind of deny it.
But like,
Finger
what else
11
could
means,
it mean?
Yeah, come on, we're not stupid, guys.
So the One-Eyed Trouser Snake is what happens when you're 14 years old and you name your band. So I had a punk band in my high school with Jimmy Barter on Highland Drive in St. John's, Newfoundland, and we were called One-Eyed Trouser Snake. That's the origins of the name. So when you name your band at 14, that's what's going to happen.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah.
But Finger 11 was, of course, Rainbow Butt Monkeys.
Oh yeah, there's another one.
So
But that's not perverse either, right? They claim that's the clean version of Butt Monkeys.
they've sanitized their whole history,
Right, of
that
course.
band. But
Well, look at like Pearl Jam. They like what else, guys?
they were Mookie Blaylock.
I know, and then they went to Pearl Jam. What else does Pearl Jam? They started as like it's an old preserve that I'm like, no, it's not.
No, yeah, that's right. Everybody reinvents the origin story of their name.
Well, the funny thing is, it's a blessing and a curse because you're lucky enough that you have a career like as phenomenal as Finger 11, but then you're like, oh, but this is the name we had when we were just in the garage, like writing the song. So, making the band up.
And they didn't have to fudge the fact they're from South Ontario.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have to make bullshit some story. Oh, we're not from Nova Scotia. Come on now, they're from Burlington. So, hey, I'm playing
true.
another new one here, and then we're gonna give you some gifts and go retro, if you will. But
Manifest.
We all want the star in the happy end, spoonful of sugar with the medicine, legendary lover and a famous friend, one thing after another.
okay, so I've heard Manifest several times. I like it very much, but I get a couple of vibes. Like I get a bit of a Bruce Springsteen vibe from this jam. Do you hear it? Right?
Yeah.
I definitely feel it. Yeah.
Because Colin had that rappy, catchy verse for a long time. We've tried to we've worked on the song in many different fashions, but to me it reminds you a little bit of Paul Simon, like the way that the lyrics flow. But I always has. But production-wise, it's nothing like Paul Simon.
No, I would say production-wise, a little bit like the Killers.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah, that's cool.
Sure.
I love all
I
that
like
stuff.
the Killers.
Yeah.
You get Paul Simon, Bruce Springsteen,
Yeah.
the Killers. You mix it up. You got yourself a stew right there.
Yourself a Trews song.
That's all phenomenal. I would love to have every one of those guys' problems.
Here's a big question for you. This will tie into what you were up to this past weekend. But when you guys hear, so when the Trews hear the news, okay, Machine Gun Kelly is the halftime show at our Grey Cup. What are your thoughts?
Well, the funny thing about that, we were just talking about this, like we've been a band for a very long time and we got this great fan base and they're always like, anytime we put stuff out on our Instagram and Facebook, everybody's so happy and so kind. But the moment you kind of dip your foot back into that world where it's everybody else and you're just getting thrust in front of people that might not necessarily want anything to do with you, the comments get a little bit more spicy on the posts and stuff. So we just did the halftime and it went great. It was
Eastern
fun.
Final.
But it was one of those ones where I'm like, I'm not going to look at the comments at this one. Most of them were great and they're all our fans. But then there's people like, I don't give a, So as far as Machine Gun Kelly doing the halftime at Grey Cup, good luck, my man.
But do you feel like maybe a Canadian band?
Yeah, I think that they did that for a really long time, and I think once they bagged Green Day, I'm sure they saw their ratings go up and got a taste for that. And like at the end of the day, anything that's on TV is on there because it's trying to sell you soap or deodorant or a truck, and like they're just trying to get eyeballs. And in plenty of Canadian bands have, I remember when the Hip did it.
But they also
I've
had
seen
like,
the Guess Who did
They had
it.
like Keith Urban. It's not the first time they've done it.
Black Eyed Peas played the Grey Cup.
Yeah.
Did they? Okay, so there you go.
It's a big get for them.
Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all Americans.
There you go.
For an all American
I
sport
think
like
I
CFL.
just want to say, I think that's shitty. Like
Yeah.
this is a Canadian showcase.
Yeah, I think of all the years that they could have maybe sent a message and gone domestic, this might have been the year that we're not a 51st state and all that kind of thing. But they're making decisions for very different reasons than their fans, you know. So, you know, what can you do?
I can't imagine being in charge of a international television show is an easy job this day and age, where you're just constantly competing for any modicum of attention you can get. So I'm sure they're making big, bold statements, just trying to make sure people tune in. And
they got OLP involved, right, in the pregame.
Yeah,
okay. I saw that. Yeah.
But pregame's not really
It's different, right?
Yeah, it's like a bridesmaid, never a bride.
But you guys did get to play in Hamilton at the Eastern final, which was yesterday, right?
Yeah,
it was
Saturday.
It was cool, except for anyway.
Well, the Ticats lost, right?
The Ticats lost, which was a bummer.
And I'm going to say it, even though I shouldn't. They made a big hoopla about us like doing Highway of Heroes as the intro, and they're going to broadcast it. And we were there all morning rehearsing it, and then last minute they didn't broadcast. It was like, thanks a pant load, guys. Like, we put a lot of work.
But they told you they would broadcast it.
And then
that's bullshit too.
Yeah, and then in the middle of, I'm like, now I'm going to get in trouble with TSN or whatever. But in the middle of the show, we were supposed to. Yeah, they just broadcast like a minute of Not Ready to Go, which was like, you know, always lovely to be involved and stuff, but kind of like, you know, give us an extra minute, guys.
Well, I can tell you my last guest on this program was, 2 guests ago was Ralph Benmergui, and he went with Steve Paikin to this Ticats game. I'm sure they both had a great time here in the Trews. Better than Machine Gun Kelly.
We had a really good time.
Yeah,
I mean, I wish Machine Gun Kelly luck. I also am at this point in my life where I don't like. I know the guy's name and I know he's a celebrity, but I don't know how his songs go, and I feel like slightly out of touch in some ways. Like,
it's kind of power punky pop punk, right? Is that what?
You know what? I think who's the Blink 182?
Travis Barker.
It's like a Travis Barker. Are you ready? I'm not even sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but I'm not. You know, I'm older than you guys, so
well, the numbers don't lie, and he's doing well.
Wish him luck.
Yeah.
Wish him luck.
I bet you there'll be millions of Americans tuning in for the Grey Cup final.
We'll love our Canadian football with that one less down.
Yeah.
Well, they're changing things. I mean, that's the last holdout. We're going to keep that extra down, but they are making changes.
Right?
Yeah.
Next year.
They're making changes. Yeah, it's definitely becoming more like the NFL. But we better hold on to that. We don't want 4 downs. We want to keep it 3 down.
And didn't CFL predates the NFL?
It does.
It does.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Tom Brady was. They clipped this and shared it today. Tom Brady was talking about how great a game Canadian football is on air yesterday.
Oh wow!
He's like, honestly, if you can play every second down like it's your last down, you're going to be a better football team because you're not relying on 2 more backstops, you know, essentially.
Right.
And he was talking about what a great level of play that forces you into.
Some reassurance from
urgent style.
Well, if the GOAT says that, then I'm all on board the Machine Gun Kelly show. Let's keep it going here.
Let's do it.
So, John-Angus, how is your beer?
It's really nice. I don't normally drink beer at lunchtime on a Monday, but I mean, who am I kidding?
It's a light lager, right? I didn't give you the full premium lager. That's the light lager.
No, I wanted to go light because I've got a busy afternoon ahead of me still, but it's going down nice.
Well, enjoy the lager here.
How is yours? What is it?
So I'm drinking a Burst, which is my go-to IPA when the Sunnyside is not being brewed. So Sunnyside is a summer brew, and then when fall hits, I switch to Burst.
So you're an IPA fella.
I like the IPA at the, but the lager is great. Like if I'm having a sausage or something, a bunch of mustard on it, give me the lager. Right now, it kind of depends what I'm doing there. But hey, do you ever? And John, I'm curious. Does anybody bug you about being John-A. MacDonald, our first prime minister? Do you get that a lot or no?
I mean, not surprisingly, not as much as you'd think.
Maybe just people don't know he's our first prime minister.
What did that band say about you? You're the non-controversial John-A. MacDonald.
Yeah, they were like, they said no. One of them said, "Sorry about your name." I was like, well, I don't know.
And they were a great. What's their band? Tiny Horse. They're a great band.
Yeah, my. I don't think it's not. My parents weren't tributing the first prime minister when they gave me my name, and he's not an Angus either, right? He's Alexander.
Yeah, I don't think he's an Angus.
So it's just a coincidence, but I am John-A. MacDonald, which is kind of funny.
What's really funny is no one gets that his first name is hyphenated. It's John-Angus, as sure as my name is Colin. And people always think that he's introducing himself by his full name. And like when he goes to Starbucks, he's like declaring himself like, that would be for John-Angus. And everyone's like, okay, whatever, dude. And they put John.
Yeah, it sounds pretentious, right?
Yeah, it does.
It's like, I would like this for Colin Kirk MacDonald, please. Like you're.
And some of the misheard versions of my name are pretty funny. Like I got one time Starbucks wrote John, I guess on my cup. Like John, I guess.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Bloody Light out now. Get your mitts on the Bloody Light. Listen to some new the Trews. And I do have a note here, and maybe you guys can have more announcements have happened since I took this note. But I did take a note. This is a long build up while I look for it. But I did take a note that you guys are at Falls View Casino on January 15th, 2026 with one of my favorite bands of all. I love both these bands. The Watchmen, who gave me this Brian Linehan picture over here because I love the Watchmen.
Oh, cool.
And Skydiggers, both FOTM bands, friends of Toronto Mike, like you guys are now. But that'll be amazing at Falls View Casino, January 15th.
Yeah, it's a great lineup, and I think Danny Greaves has got one of the greatest voices in the country, and the Skydiggers are incredible. Like Andy's a phenomenal performer, frontman, and yeah, that's some tough bands going on before us, but we're gonna try to rise to the occasion. And have a good show.
What a trifecta, honestly. I think that's an unbelievable trifecta. By the way, I just saw Danny Graves open for Big Wreck at the Phoenix maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
I heard about that show, yeah.
How was it?
Well, Danny does like a acoustic set, like it's just him and a piano, and he'll do some Watchmen songs and he'll do some covers, and he actually, okay, so here, I'm going to do this now so we can just rock and roll the rest of the way, which is I have an event coming up called TMLX21, and this is happening the last Saturday of November, so November 29th, noon to 3 p.m. at Palma's Kitchen in Mississauga. And the reason I'm tying that to Danny is because I had an event at Great Lakes Brewery one time, and Danny drove from Orillia to sing acoustically for us to close out the night. So Danny played one of my events, and he's an I think he's a sweetheart. And when who did I have over here? Paul Langlois was over here, and we were talking about like, will we ever be able to see the hip? Like maybe you call it the hip in front. I don't know what you call it because there's no gourd.
I saw Danny. We were at Mariposa, and we were playing acoustically, and Paul was playing solo, and Danny came up and sang a couple hip songs.
You know exactly where I'm going, which is at the Junos they played with Feist. So it's the only time the hip have played without Gord Downey is at Junos. In Violet Light, what's that song called? It's a Good Life If You Don't Weekend. Great song. But I suggested to Paul that the guy, if you're going to do something, the hip plus friends or whatever, Danny Graves is your guy.
Oh, he'd be great.
Yeah. Colin would do a great job too. Have you ever seen Colin do some hip?
What's your go-to hip song if you're going to sing a hip song?
Everything. I was a bit obsessed, to say the least. We did a couple of shows with, a bunch of shows with Gord Sinclair, but we did one with John-Angus, me, Paul, and Gord. We did this benefit show. And Paul just looked over at me. He's like, "You're almost doing those a little too good." Because I kind of grew up like anybody starting a band in the 90s in Canada, and like the Tragically Hip were just omnipresent everywhere. And of course, we just fell hard for them. Day for Night was the record.
Mark Howard.
Yeah,
that's right.
And I was just like obsessed.
We worked with
that.
Him. Yeah. We are pretty close. Very close with Gord Sinclair. He produced our fourth album, called Hope and Room. Yeah. We did it at Bath. And if you ever been to the Hip Studio, it's almost.
I got a note this weekend from Carolyn Taylor, who was on Baroness Von Sketch Show, that she recorded an album at the Bathhouse.
Yes. Yeah. So I
want to go.
What you could do, you could charge admission, and it would be like touring a hip museum, because like they have the console from the Phantom Power album cover. They have the blown up, fully completely artwork, like the OG print of it, and they have. It's like a hip museum. It really is cool. Books that inspired lyrics that ended up on records are lining the library, and so we spent like a few months marinating in that space, and we made our fourth album there with Gord Sinclair, and we've been very, very close with him ever since. And whenever we can, we get him up to do Grace 2, and just because to have him play that bass line, and Colin can really nail it, and we really like playing that one.
That record's
Oh, and we do one from that album too. We do Cordelia.
I love Cordelia. I think back to when the Hip got that break on Saturday Night Live, because Dan Aykroyd was hosting, and they could have. I always think back to that moment because I was watching live, like a bunch of us. I'm sure you guys were watching. They could have played. They could have done something like New Orleans is Sinking and maybe Little Bones or something, but they said no. We're promoting Day for Night. Yeah. We're going to play the two singles off Day for Night. It doesn't matter that they're singing to a giant audience that really doesn't speak hip like we do. Yeah. I think that was like a true artist.
That's what makes them so
artistic
cool.
integrity there.
I feel like just knowing those guys, they wouldn't have. I couldn't picture them doing it any other way. At least not with a straight face, and
And he was so nervous. Now I'm preaching to the choir, but he was so nervous. I'm fabulously rich. Like the opening lyric to Grace 2, he accidentally says, I'm tragically hip.
Yeah, because he was trying to wish his 11-year-old nephew happy birthday, and that's why he did those things with his fingers, and he forgot the opening lyric.
Yeah, cause they just introduced him, the tragically hip, and I guess that was...
and I remember, like, in the lore, like, history just changes all the time the longer we go. Like, now everybody looks back at that as this amazing moment. But like at the time, it was like, oh, they had this big opportunity to play Saturday Night Live. Like, I remember, like when we were younger, before we met them, that was the word on the street. But now it's like it was awesome and cool, and it always was. But it's just the way people's perceptions change over time. But I still think it was so cool.
They did the more, artistic, integrity thing. And good on them.
Well, I think this ties in with you guys too, because what I think from a fan's perspective, but I was born and raised in the city, Toronto here. You guys are from Maritimes, and now you're in Ontario for many, many, many years. But I think at some point we collectively realized, like, it's better for us if they don't understand, like, who gives a fuck if the Americans appreciate the hip?
I never thought of that line.
Such a good line.
That's how I think of it now.
Right.
I love that. I love that you use that. It reminded me. I don't want to change the topic from the hip, but I read a review of Losing My Religion the other day, because they did the top 20 REM songs of all time from their major label run, and they said that was Michael Stipe saying, "I don't know how to write a hit song." It's in the line that they highlighted was, "Oh no, I said too much. I haven't said enough." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I got chills." Like that's exactly what it is, right? Like it's like trying to strike that balance between relatability and connectability, and then not revealing so much of yourself. And I'm like, wow.
Well, it's funny you mentioned REM, because I don't know how to describe to an American Gord Downie.
Yeah.
But you have to do a hybrid of people, one of whom is Bruce Springsteen. I want to ask you about it in a moment. But another of whom is Michael Stipe.
Yeah. He's like, the thing about Downey, he's also a goaltender, right? So you have to remember, like, it was very...
lonely end of the rink.
Yeah, lonely end of the rink. And he was a good goaltender by all reports. And so Michael Stipe is very... I love Michael Stipe. Incredibly, like, a very artsy guy. Like, very, like, out of central casting artsy guy. And Downey was a very artsy guy, but he had this whole other... manly jock side to him, which is that's why all the dudes were like so obsessed with the hip, especially before they started writing like Ahead by a Century, where but he's kind of a funny, it's very Canadian. I hate to say that because it's such a cliche, but he does embody all these things. So it's like putting Bruce Springsteen and Michael Stipe together,
right?
And Americans, I think, would have a hard time with that at first. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get what you mean.
It's like if Bruce Springsteen started to get really eccentric and strange, but no, he's always like, this one's about, working at the gas station, and everyone's like, okay, I get it.
One thing
I saw a mansion on a hill.
Yeah.
One thing I somewhat lament is that, like, these were like the biggest pop stars of the day were like Michael Stipe writing songs about swimming naked at night, and it was like a colossal hit, and it's like, whoa, like we lived through it. We were pretty young, we were teenagers, but like the biggest voices of the day were so genuinely alternative. Like we don't have any comparables to that anymore. If you look at like the top 50 on Spotify, it's everything makes perfect sense. It's all written by committee in Nashville, right? And like probably
42 of them are by Taylor Swift,
and probably ChatGPT in the room. So, but whatever. Some of those songs are really good, but everything makes complete sense all the time. Like, and it was so funny to live through an era when, like, the more obtuse and weird you were,
right,
the better it was. You know what I mean? And like, and Downey fit slot right in with all that stuff, and so Michael Stipe and like Eddie Vedder and like these guys. And again, I don't want to be like a. It wouldn't be okay boomer, it'd be okay Xer, but like, or okay, whatever else.
Well, welcome to Toronto Mike. That should be our byline. Okay,
right.
Xer.
Okay,
let's
Xer.
go.
But anyway, whatever. It is what it is, but it's just like, what a funny time to have lived through when the biggest voices in popular music were genuinely different.
So smart and soulful and arty, and you felt it. It wasn't just like obtuse and eccentric and pretentious. It was like, it was also hit music. It's like, you felt it.
Nevermind outsold, at least I think it was just after Christmas, Nevermind outsold the Michael Jackson. Although the part of that story nobody ever talks about is that Michael gets back the next week.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
That doesn't matter.
Okay?
Don't let that get in the way. Really cool thing about that story, and again, not to get too in the weeds, but Chris Malamphy.
Get in the weeds, brother.
If you've never heard of Chris Malamphy, he's a really good podcaster.
I listened to his Slate podcast.
Okay, it's great.
So, I do.
But do you know why it went to #1 the week after Christmas?
Oh yeah, because people got they exchanged
their Michael Jackson or their Mariah Carey or their Whitney Houston for Nevermind.
Right.
So they're like,
because kids were choosing their own music after
like
Christmas.
The uncle or the aunt who doesn't know anything about it bought you something else, and next week you went and changed it for Nevermind, which is the biggest compliment you could ever have. You know?
I love that you dropped that fun fact, because I did hear that on the Chris Melanthi podcast.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's very good. And I'm always interested in chart history, although looking at the charts these days, I'm sort of like done with the charts, because whatever change of streaming, it's like they don't mean anything anymore, because they're all tied, they're sort of gamed, and it's all, and now that we have like an AI song on the Billboard Hot 100, which is just a mediocre, run-of-the-mill Beyonce sound-alike piece of slop or whatever, and the person who created it has no musical talent herself. She just writes like poetry, and then she does prompts until she gets back something from, it's called Sonos, but until she gets something back that sounds good to her, and then suddenly that's the song. Like, to me, there's no artistry in that.
And like the thing about music and literature and art, everything, it's like it's the human expression. It's the thing that outlasts the wars and outlasts the times, if it's any good. And it's like it's the whole idea behind art is just, we were here, we existed, and we wrote about it. And now, if you can't trust that, I don't know what to think.
Well, I also think that there's like a point at which it's all generating content off what has been created. So we could be witnessing, if we lean too heavily in that direction, we could be witnessing essentially the end of culture, because it's going to keep recycling itself.
Right.
And so without
the snake eats its tail.
Exactly. And without something genuinely new, like this thing zigged when it should have zagged, is what human ingenuity is all about. You know, it's like, and if we just keep feeding off what's already been created, again, you're right, the snake will eat its tail, and then it'll be over. It'll be like, we'll keep listening to the same things and watching the same movies. And
well, you know what? It was what do you call it? What's that Simpsons line? Like, it was a hell of a toboggan ride. Okay, so there we go. Tyler R. I had Tom Cochran on the show because I did something at the Joe Carter Classic. It was like a golf event, and Tom was there, and I was set up, and I chatted with him, and he promised to come back, and we talked about him coming back. He hasn't been back yet, even though I saw him open for the Who. Tom, get over here.
We were at the Who show.
Oh yeah, I thought they were pretty damn good.
Which
I went
night?
to the I went to the
one?
first one.
Went to the
I
second
can't remember
one.
now.
You know,
actually.
my only complaint was that I never heard Roger Daltrey sound better. I thought he was incredible for 81 years old.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But I didn't find the band loud enough. Like when I go to the Who, I want my face to melt off.
I was in the Lawns because Pizza had a promo where you could get a ticket for $11.11.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic.
I know.
Good deal.
So, $10 surcharge, but I was happy to pay $21 to see the Who, and I bought this ticket.
That's less than a beer at the amphitheater.
That's beautiful.
You know, they don't even have Great Lakes there, which kind of sucks. But so I'm there, and I watched Tom Cochran from the Lawns, and my buddy Paul Farberman, who actually is managing Snow right now. Okay, shout out to
The Informer.
you guys should collaborate with Snow.
I see your
we'll do
Maestro
it.
record back there. You ever heard our collaboration with Maestro?
Wait, you said there was a collaboration with Maestro Fresh West?
Yes.
You know it. Yeah. I love this song.
I was going to ask you about that, so we'll do it right now.
It's so high vocals, man.
Are we able to talk over this? My 11-year-old discovered this song a couple of years ago, and he loves hip hop, and he couldn't believe that we were on a hip hop song.
I want to know.
So he listened to this relentlessly for about a year, and it's a good track.
Okay, let's listen to a bit, then tell me. And then I will eventually get back to TMLX 21, which I started about 20 minutes ago. So.
I remember Maestro used to call me at like 3 a.m, and I was like at a time in our career where we were touring incessantly, so I would get any night at home was a precious night, but I would get a phone call from him, and he would say things like, "I don't make music, I make history." So I love him.
It was the Maestro. He's in the Maritimes now.
Yes, down in St. John, New Brunswick. We've been trying to work it out that he could come out to a Trews show so we can do this.
So how did this come to be?
He saw us in Queen Street West Music Fest in 2010, and he really liked our song "Tired of Waiting." He liked the chorus.
We're going to get to that.
But if you remember the after party,
barely.
we took over the stage at the Underground. Some Toronto club.
It was a
on Queen.
messy night.
And there was a cover band playing, and we just like spilled onto the stage post show, commandeered all the instruments, and he got up and rapped, freestyled over "Hold Me in Your Arms" or "Tired of Waiting."
Oh, cool.
One or the other.
Okay.
So he freestyled on stage with us.
I love this guy. I think he's great.
And then we made a commitment, like, hey, we're gonna write together someday, and it actually came to be. And he came to my apartment on King.
He's a talented guy. And like our way of writing is more like we'll just jam on chords and just like see what happens. But Maestro's like so intentional, like with his lyrics. Like, no, what are we writing about? How are we going to write it? He's a very talented guy. And it kind of was intimidating because I was like, we kind of let things happen as they will. Kind of almost like a hippie-ish approach, but he's very intentional, and I love that.
And I will say, at the session itself, it was our first time at a hip-hop session.
Yeah, there was 25 producers.
Yeah, he's like, hey, that's so-and-so, he's the producer on the track. That's so-and-so, he's a producer on the track. That's so-and-so, he's a producer on the track. And we're like, whoa. But but everybody contributed like that little keyboard hook, like the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Like somebody created that, and somebody else created the beat. Maestro, of course, wrote the lyrics, and then there was another rapper on it. Was it Rich Kid?
Rich Kid. Rich Kid.
Who was also on it. So everybody was in the room. It was a very busy studio. And I remember just playing the guitar 1 or 2 takes.
One of the things he told me, and I thought was really cool, just in terms of songwriting, because he was really good friends with Chuck D from Public Enemy, and he said the most important thing in a lyric is your opening lyric. And Chuck D is like such a bass. How low can you go?
Or, Death Row, What a Brother Knows. Once again, back is the incredible rhyme animal.
1989.
That number, Another Summer. Get down, sound of the funky drummer.
Yeah. And he was all about that.
I can do this all day.
So I love it, man. But Maestro is like, no, if you're going to start a song, you start big. And I don't know if you can curse, but you can't mess.
You can curse.
Yeah, don't fuck around. Like bass. Like that's a really good opening lyric, and no one even thinks of it. It just hits you.
And there's an example of that song, "Bring the Noise," with so Anthrax.
Good. Yeah,
right. They bring in this
cool
is what you're doing now. You got a rock band, you got a rapper. It's the same deal.
The song it turned out great, and it was a single off that record, and we made a video. But unfortunately, I don't think radio knew what to do with it because
it didn't do much.
Your voice was obviously like very recognizable and very rock radio, but rock radio is not going to play something that mostly raps.
Yeah.
And it didn't fit on the hip hop section of things, unfortunately.
Well, here's a special message from the aforementioned Chuck D.
Hey, what's up? This is Chuck D. You are listening to Toronto Mike here,
Did you have him
now.
Yep.
The place to
Well, I had to go to him. He was at the C&E band shell.
That's so cool. Awesome. He's such a legend.
Well, I literally, this is back before Elon Musk owned Twitter, and I had an active Twitter account, and I just literally tweeted at the guy and said, "Oh, you're going to be here. I think it was Beer Fest or something."
Yeah.
And I said, "I'm going to see you at Grandstand. Would you come on my podcast?" And then he connected me to this handler person who said, "Okay, you get 20 minutes." And I brought the whole studio. Like I put it in a box, I put it in a trailer, and I biked it to the C&E Grandstand. I set it up behind the C&E Grandstand.
Did you bike from here?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. And well, I biked to the Opera House from here for a recording.
I guess you can do it all along Lakeshore, right?
I can do easily. I can easily go on like a 50K ride right now. Like that's no. Now I'm just bragging about myself.
Oh, you're in good shape.
I'm in good cycling shape. That's about it. But love Chuck D. So I'm gonna finish the TMLX 21 thought because you guys from the Hammer, if you made the trek to Mississauga, and everyone listening is invited to this. I'm doing a live recording from Palma's Kitchen in Mississauga. That's near like Burnhamthorpe and Mavis. It's a great Palma pasta location. So we'll be taking over the second floor, but here's the deal. Everybody eats for free. So Palma Pasta will feed you. They have a hot table there.
Whoa.
I have a lasagna in my freezer for you guys to take back to the Hammer.
So cool.
It's a frozen lasagna from Palma Pasta. You'll love it. So everybody eats for free at TMLX 21. I'm bringing cold Great Lakes. You can get a can or two of fresh craft beer from Great Lakes Brewery. And the newest sponsor, Retro Festive, is going to give everybody a gift for coming. On that note, I have a gift for you two gentlemen, courtesy of retrofestive.ca. By the way, the promo code FOTM saves you 10% if you go buy something for Christmas. Somebody on your Christmas list, go to retrofestive.ca right now. Save 10% with the promo code FOTM. I think earlier we mentioned Dan Aykroyd and Saturday Night Live, and there was a guy on that show named Chevy Chase back in the day. And of course, Christmas Vacation is a great Chevy Chase movie, and they have moose mugs in that movie, and you guys are each getting a moose mug.
Oh, that's so cool.
One for each of you.
This is great. That. This is what Uncle Eddie was drinking when he said, "Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year."
That's it.
And just to bring this back to the Trews,
yes, of course.
We actually covered the Christmas Vacation song at the Phoenix what was it? The Andy Kim Christmas.
Andy Kim Christmas. It was
we covered that in 2015, and
Mavis
all
Staples.
all the guys from the Bare Naked Ladies were really impressed with that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do have to give credit to Jeff Haysalt, who's our keyboard player. He said we should cover the Mavis Staple. It's that time. Christmas
I know the song.
here.
Christmas Vacation. Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah,
And Mavis
fun.
Staples still with us. She's great. I always think of the Last Waltz with the Staples
Yes.
singers doing the weight.
Yep. Fantastic.
So good.
All right. Shout out to Ridley Funeral Home for Pops. He's no longer with us, but Ridley Funeral Home did send over a measuring tape for you guys.
Oh, geez.
There. By the way, here's a
measure our
small world
bodies.
story. Measure what kind of casket you need. You know,
That's
Oh,
dark.
goodness.
it's dark, but it's funny. But here, you mentioned Andy Kim. It's funny. I was chatting with Andy Kim the other day because I produced the Humble and Fred Show. It's a podcast.
Oh, we know that.
Tomorrow, Andy Kim is their guest because he's promoting his Christmas show.
Yeah, every year.
Awesome.
We've probably done it 3 or 4 times.
We did it.
always fun.
Yeah, we've done it about. We did the Massey Hall one in 22, and before that we did a bunch at the Phoenix, and we did one at the Mod Club. And yeah, he's amazing. Andy, he's written some phenomenal songs.
Sugar Baby.
I love that, but my favorite is Rock Me. I think
Rock Me
that
Jam.
song is so good.
Covered by the Trans-Canada Highwaymen.
Yeah.
I
very
saw
good
them do it at
guys.
the Horseshoe. Yeah, shout out to Stephen Page and
Chris Murphy.
Chris Murphy.
And
It's
Mo Berg and Craig Northey.
great, yeah,
you
that's
got
right.
it. That's the big 4 there. Okay, so it's funny because I was going down that road of Tom Cochran. Why did I bring him up? Because I got a question for Tom when he visits, but I'm going to give it to you guys because
Okay. What was it like writing Life is a Highway? I don't know.
close. Apparently, you guys share this stage with the E Street Band in New Brunswick.
Yes, we did.
Like, so we've already brought up Bruce kind of organically, but tell me about that. That was 2012.
Okay, so 2012, every year back then, Moncton at Magnetic Hill would have like this huge rock show. They had like U2, they had AC/DC. And then one summer they had Bruce Springsteen, and it was like August of 2012. The show was happening in September. And I remember just on a whim, I called our manager, Larry Wanagus, and said, hey, is there any way we could possibly get on this bill if, and typically, the answer we got back at first was, Bruce doesn't usually have opening acts, but I guess, I don't know, whatever the show was doing, but last minute they decided to add a couple Canadian bands and we were top of list. And so it became us and then Tom Cochran. It was early September of 2012.
Wow.
And we were blown away. He's an absolute Bruce Springsteen. Like that's what I would define him as. No, I'm just, but he's
the most Bruce Springsteen of all the Bruce Springsteens.
So we get there and we're just.
But Sean said it was like meeting G.I. Joe.
Yeah. but
Was that because of the pectoral muscle?
Real American hero.
He's
Real American hero.
Americans. He just looks exactly like an American hero. And we asked when we got there. We had a good show. It was fine. It was fun.
Yeah.
And we were begging our road manager to go to their road manager and ask if we could just get a picture with the boss. And at first they're like, Bruce likes to take his time, get warmed up for the show. It's the only way you're going to get to meet him is if you hang out by backstage right when they're on their way to the show. And sure enough, we're just hanging around there, just nervously kind of waiting to see if we can meet the boss. And then the entire cavalcade of E Street Band members come in these black Escalades. And I'm like, oh, wow. And there was really tight security back there. You weren't allowed to fuck around. Right. And in the background, I've told this story many times, but I'll tell it again. As all the Escalades were coming in and all the backup singers and Niles Lofgren and all these people were making their way to the stage, I see a little golf cart in the distance just burning around, like some guy snuck into the grounds and was just doing, whatever, like donuts. Yeah. And as it got closer, I'm like, oh shit, that's Bruce Springsteen. He was driving the golf cart and he had little Steven in with him.
Wow.
And Max Weinberg.
Max Weinberg, sure.
So if he had wiped out, the show would have been messed. But he drives right up to us, kind of like almost like a little kid. And he comes right up to the band and he's like, how's it going? How was your show? I'm like, oh, it was good. He's like, where are you from? I'm like, we're from Antigonish. So he's like, where's that? I'm like, it's about 2.5 hours east of here. And he goes, that's great. Do you know Twist and Shout? And we're like, yeah, we know Twist and Shout. He's like, come sing it with me in the encore. And we're like, holy crap.
That's a good Bruce.
Then immediately your mind goes to, okay, how do I stay sober for 3.5 hours? Which we struggled with.
We struggled. We got there and then we watched, his show was incredible. Like, I mean, needless to say, but it was like watching, like, I compare it to like John the Baptist coming down with the word of God. I mean, like it was just incredible, but that almost feels like something that goes without saying. And then we got up in the encore and he said, please welcome the Trews, and then counted off the band, and you can see it on YouTube. And it was one of the greatest moments of our lives.
Okay, couple of thoughts. One is, you say it goes without saying, but until I saw it, I didn't fully understand it. Like, I had to see it for myself. In November, the day after Trump got elected the second time, at the Scotiabank Arena, I got my first Bruce Springsteen live experience, and it is very religious. Like, it's very, you have to, but you can't really explain it. You kind of have to tell somebody to go experience that.
It's like watching a sermon, man.
Yeah, it's like
really good. I mean,
how do you describe a sunset?
Exactly.
I often say that was probably the best band I'd ever seen. Them and I saw AC/DC in like a pretty good prime, like on the Black Ice with Malcolm was still around and Phil was still the drummer. And I feel like that and Bruce, those were the best rock shows I'd ever seen. I've ever seen.
What struck me was his ability to make it so intimate so quickly. Like, he was down with this ginormous outdoor crowd, and he made it feel like all of a sudden you're just in the living room with 50,000 people, and he went right into the crowd, was looking at what people had on their posters and asking requests, immediately brought everybody in, and not in this kind of contrived, lame way. It was just so perfectly executed, but it also felt so this is only going to happen like this tonight. And yeah, he just killed it. I remember Working on the Highway really hit me that night. That song. Yeah.
Which, now that the biopic, which I haven't seen yet, but you realize how many of those songs that we got on Born in the USA were written during the Nebraska, just
it's
including
great
that one.
That's a great record, Nebraska.
That's a good lesson too, like how many great songs he got out of like not trying to have these huge hits. He was like, he kept everything really like low because that's where he was, right? And then when he kind of came out of it and did Nebraska, he's like, well, you know what? We could probably muscle up some of these and then make my biggest selling record of all time.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't written with that intention. It was written with the opposite intentions, and it made it all the more satisfying when you get to Born in the USA and all those songs are so, real.
Well, that I'm of an age where that was my first Bruce Springsteen experience, was Born in the USA, and it was everywhere.
Yeah, it was like Michael Jackson Thriller. Or
massive, like Madonna or whatever. Absolutely. Yeah. Mike from K-Dub, you guys touched on this because you guys played a couple of days ago at, what is the name of the Ticats field? Is it Tim Hortons Field?
Right now it's going by Hamilton Stadium because Tim Hortons, the naming rights have lapsed.
That's bullshit too.
And nobody's picked it up. So I don't know.
They got the cash at Timmy's.
We were going to see if they could call it the Trews Stadium. So come see the Arkells live at the Trews.
But when I saw Neil Young this summer, he played the Budweiser stage. I know
he called it
that name.
Freshwater
stage.
Freshwater Amphitheater.
We were at that show on stage, side stage, watching Neil.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it was amazing. I met Neil that night. It was really, really
He's turning
fun.
80.
Same day as me, that I turned 45.
Was that
You're turning 82? You look great, man.
Yeah, he made the same joke. But no, we share a birthday. It's in 2 days. Yeah.
How was the show out there? On stage, it was religious.
I was in the lawns again.
Okay.
Although I paid more than $11.11 for the Neil Young show. But yeah, it was amazing. But it's funny. This will tie in with a sponsor mention only because I was with a guy who he had maybe the strain of cannabis he was consuming he wasn't prepared for, and he went down. And then paramedics came, and I'm kind of watching him to make sure he's okay.
Friend or just the guy?
Yeah, he's a friend. He's going to be at TMLX 21. Langer, shout out to Langer. But he went down, and then paramedics are giving him some water, and he just took the wrong strain of weed. Who gave it to him? Canada Kev? No, it was Andrew Ward who gave it to him. I'm shouting out these guys we're hanging with. Yeah. And Tyler, who I'm going to see tonight, there's a new Terry Fox documentary called Run, Terry, Run. I'm going to see it at the Roy Thompson Hall tonight. I'm going to see Tyler at that show.
So great.
But bottom line is, I've told the story, and I don't want to embarrass Langer again, but I saw him get up, and I go, okay, he's feel better. I got some water in him. He's coming back to enjoy Neil. Then I saw him go down again, and they took him to the tent. So part of that show, actually, I missed because I was at the tent, but I caught enough.
Tending
it was
to your friend.
great. Good reason, but it was a great fucking show. And this is a good chance to tell you that if you want to order cannabis online, you can go to shopkindling.ca, and then when you order your cannabis or cannabis products, it'll be in your hands in under an hour. It gets delivered to you. The delivery is free. In under an hour, you've got your weed, and you can track the delivery, like where's it at, like it's an Uber or something, and it's discreet. Like it doesn't come with like a giant green leaf or whatever. It's very discreet. So go to shopkindling.ca for all your cannabis needs. You guys mentioned you were at Ticats Stadium there, and you guys talked about Highway of Heroes, and a question came in from Mike from K-Dub. Mike from K-Dub writes, please thank them for their performance of Highway of Heroes before the Ticats Alouettes game on Saturday. It was truly a moving moment in honor of Canada's brave men and women who sacrificed so much Could I play a bit of this?
Sure.
This isn't the live. This is the
recording.
The day I shipped out, they numbered a dozen. Upon my return, we're 100 or so. From the coast and from the prairies, I bet they keep coming. Add one more name from Ontario and carry me home down the highway of heroes. People above with the flags flying low. Carry me softly down the highway of heroes. True patriot love, there was never more.
Could you please share with me the inspiration for this wonderful song, Highway of Heroes?
Before we do, I want to shout out Tim Chasen
It's so good.
for playing violin on the track, and him and Tian Wigmore, as well as our former drummer Sean, on the beautiful backup vocals, which I have to imitate every night as if I'm singing them. Of course, I play guitar and I do some harmonizing later on it, but those guys sound really good. I don't listen to that very much because we play it every night. But that really jumps out. Great violin, and also Jeff Haysold on the accordion. And really, those flavors on the track really add a lot.
So this song, we were actually rehearsing it with John-Angus's middle child has a Remembrance Day ceremony tomorrow, so we're going to go and play it with the kids tomorrow. But the song was inspired by the story of Nicola Goddard. She's a girl from her hometown of Antigonish, Nova Scotia, and she was killed in Afghanistan in 2006. And they wrote a book about her called Sunray in 2009, and they interviewed my mother for it. My mother's really good friends with Nicola's mom, a woman named Sally. And my mom had a conversation with Sally around that time saying, I'd be so pissed off if this was my kid that was killed in this war. We don't even know what the hell we're doing. By 2006 even, we were like, what are we doing in Afghanistan? And Sally just said, Nicola's whole dream in her life was to serve in the Canadian Armed Forces, and she died doing what she dreamed of doing. So I have to find some kind of meaning in that. And that really moved me. And that was how we got the song. Like that's the point of view. And it was just written about Nicola. We never had any intention of it for it to become like this military song, and it kind of became that, and people really connected to it. So I love that. But it was just written about a girl, and that's Nicola.
And of course, the Highway of Heroes is that stretch of the 401 between Trenton, the CFB Trenton, and downtown Toronto. And it's a beautiful song. And of course, tomorrow is Remembrance Day. So
Is this live? Are we live? Is this going out live?
it's live and recorded.
It airs today, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
okay.
drop right away.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll drop
Yeah,
on
this
the,
time of year, it
10th.
always takes on special significance. It's also brought us all over the world. We were just in Riga, Latvia, playing the song for the troops on the NATO base there. And last summer, we were on the beach of Normandy for the 80th anniversary of D-Day, playing for Justin Trudeau and Prince William and the French Prime Minister. And we've been to Dubai to play it for the troops over there. We've been to the south of Spain, and it's just one of those songs that's really taken us all over the place because it resonates on that level with people. So we're grateful for that.
And it's very cool. So you're going to actually play it for some, primary school kids?
My second child, he's 7. I have 3 boys, and his whole school has learned the song. Wow. So they're calling an assembly at 10 tomorrow, and there's about 400 or 500 kids that we're going to sing it with.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, the Trews are going to play the auditorium or whatever. That's really cool.
We rehearsed it today because they had to work out the kinks and make sure that the kids knew it. They did great. And they also had a little Q&A. They wanted to ask us questions, which was cute. But we did that this morning, and we're going to go play it with them tomorrow morning.
Yeah. That's amazing here. Okay, so you guys are so easy to talk to. My goodness. So I realize I said an hour, and I can do an hour, but I'd rather steal a few more minutes. Like, do you have a hard out now?
I have a hard out in that I have to be back in Hamilton by 3, so we could maybe fudge it by 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, I'm taking 10.
Okay.
Since you just offered it up there, I'm taking 10 because there are 3 songs. I'll just play a bit of 3 songs, and just if I can capture the stories of like where it came from, because these are just 3 songs that are sort of what I call like pervasive on our airwaves, sort of like anthemic, big Canadian jams. Okay. So I'm about to play them. I'm going to shout out a couple last sponsors here really quickly. I want to let people know that if you're looking for a dynamic and creative work environments with the return to office movement, you need to speak to Doug Mills from Blue Sky Agency. He's Doug at blueskyagency.ca. He's the man to talk to. They got a silent pod, which offers privacy and a lot of great creative, dynamic work furniture. So talk to him. 2 great podcasts from Nick Iones I want to shout out. Building Toronto's Skyline. We just had Jennifer McKelvey on the show talking about what the federal government is doing to get us building more housing. And Building Success. Steve Paikin was our guest. He was also at that Ticats game. I think I can hear him now, and he's saying Oscar Wee Wee. Was that what you say? Oski Wee Wee. I should know that. See, I'm an Argos fan. What do I know? Okay. So shout out to Nick Iones. And last but not least, go to recyclemyelectronics.ca if you guys have old electronics, old devices there in Hamilton that you don't want to throw in the garbage because those chemicals end up in our landfill. Go to recyclemyelectronics.ca. Okay, you guys, we're going to do this 3 big jams over the next 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
And I won't play the whole thing here because I got time problems. But
right. Oh, yes. Not ready to go.
You didn't think you'd escape without me playing this. Please bury me in fun facts about Not Ready to Go. What a jam.
It sounds so good on these earphones.
3 things came to mind as you played it. One time I met a girl in Newfoundland who thought you were saying, but there's a dodgy feel between us both.
I should have said it.
It's a doubt you feel, but I was like, I love that you said that. So, I also remember that the sound of those gang vocals, which is sort of the sound of the chorus, was from like an impromptu party we threw in the studio, because there's some evidence of this on this track, but Colin's voice was really hurting during this session.
Big time.
We did the whole record in like 6 days, and he had so much strain on his vocals, so many vocals to do, that he went home to the hotel early to rest up. And we were having a little party in the lounge, drinking beers, and it was a bunch of pals and girlfriends and friends, and we all spilled into the live room to sing the chorus, and then double the chorus, and then triple the chorus, then quadruple the chorus. So then you end up with like 45 voices singing "I'm Not Ready to Go," which it sounds very jubilant.
Sounds big. Gordie Johnson produced this?
Big time.
He did.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was... we wrote this song and Tired of Waiting in the same week, and it was right after we got rejected from this big record label guy who was going to fly up to Toronto. He did fly up to Toronto, came to see us at Ridley, and didn't get it. And I remember the exact quote was, "I came here expecting Train and I got Aerosmith." And we're like, what the fuck is wrong with Aerosmith? And we just
Aerosmith's better than Train.
Big time. And we just leaned into our classic rock love. And I remember the morning that we finished this song, you and Jack actually went to see The Who that night. I don't know how you even afforded it. We had no money. I guess maybe somebody bought us tickets.
I don't remember.
So, that reminds me of that particular time. It was a very good time. I remember hearing that back the first time when it was all done, and I thought, oh, this could actually do something. It was pretty cool. So
I was going to ask you if you knew, because a couple of quick fun facts here is that's number 1 on Canadian rock radio. Like the most played, in that format anyways, the most played song of 2018 2004.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was.
You guys did that.
It was a
like,
very,
how do things change for the Trews?
I would
when this
say
breaks?
it was like
everything.
an unexpected surprise.
Yeah.
But I think we did the research one time because we were putting together a box set for that record, and I think we did 200 shows in 2003
Jeez.
Yeah.
and 200 shows in 2004.
Yeah.
And that was because the song took off, and like it's like be careful what you wish for. It's something we've always wanted, and then. Honestly, it was all such a blur at that point. We were so busy.
I remember being at the Junos in 2004 in Edmonton, and Chad Kroeger, we had opened a couple of Nickelback shows. He came up to me, he goes, "Your song's number one." I'm like, no, it's not. It's like number two. And he's like, no, it's number one. And like he knew ahead of us because he was Chad Kroeger, and I guess he had access to that knowledge. But it wasn't until we went on Much on Demand on the Tuesday, and Rick Campanelli told us,
like the 10.
and it was really cool. You know, it was. And everything changed, and the cool thing I hear about now is there was a bunch of major label, because we were an indie band on a major label with for distribution,
right?
And we were like just destroying all these bands that had all this major label money. Like they couldn't. Our song was doing better than all these like super pretty. Like that record was done for a couple of $1,000
full value,
$6,000 or $7,000
at most.
Yeah.
And then we. We were just crushing these other bands just because everybody liked that song so much. So I was kind of proud of that. And
you get a bunch of Juno noms off of that.
Yeah. It was cool. But like what I say is like, you know, it was 2003, 2004. We were all in our early 20s. And it's like you go from doing everything wrong to doing everything right overnight. Like everything that we would get criticized for 6 months before Not Ready to Go, we're now like, oh, that's the cool thing about them. They don't give a shit about their image. They're just ragtag and really honest. But that was everything. Like, well, we're not going to sign you because you don't give a shit about your image. Like 6 months earlier. Yeah. So it's just funny the way
don't
it works.
Change a thing.
Yeah, as long as it's working. Right. And so yeah, it was wonderful. It was a lot like most bands don't get right to number one right away. We did, and that was definitely really cool. But I remember my manager saying at the time, like, ooh, where do you go from here? Except if you don't, you know.
Well, you got to follow up that big monster single. How are you going to follow that up? There's no hope, right? What are we going to do next?
This one. Here we go. Same chords. Sounds good. Drum sounds.
Follow in and trailing words you might be saying. I am tired of waiting. I'm tired of waiting. I am tired. Altered expectation. Long anticipation. Everything is changing. I'm the same and aging. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of waiting. I am tired. I'm tired of waiting.
You know, if you ask us about the song, we're going to tell you a story we've probably told 1,000 times, but I'll tell you a few other things about it.
Yes, please.
Colin is playing Gordie Johnson's double neck 12-string. So those like brings, or that's like a 12-string guitar. It's one thing we doesn't recreate live quite as well as this recording because it like really pops.
Yeah.
And then that drum fill you just heard was Sean Dalton ripping off Jeremy Taggart from OLP. The fill that goes into the chorus of One Man Army, like
yes.
Sean was very obsessed with that fill. He thought that was the coolest fill. And so he's like, I'm going to put that fill in our song. And nobody's ever called us out. And I think we told Jeremy, like he's aware of it. I think he was flattered, but
it's okay. No, just because I do these tangents, but in the video for Hero, remember the Spider-Man 2 song that Kroger sings?
Yeah.
Taggart fills in for who's the guy who just quit Pearl Jam?
Matt Cameron.
Matt Cameron.
Yeah.
Like Taggart's in the video playing drums.
I saw
that's
that.
right. That's
I
right.
remember that.
You mentioned Chad Craig.
He's a good friend, and around this time when we started taking off, we were label mates with OLP. They were also on Sony BMG, so we would hang out with him quite a lot in those days. He would come and jam.
Amazing. And you were
Sounds
saying,
good.
sorry for that tangent there, but I'm a
Taggart
fan too.
Yeah, he's
awesome.
Great guy.
Great guy. Yeah.
And I like Navid. I can listen to Navid over.
He's a really creative. He's an inventive
Very
drummer.
talented guy.
Yeah, he came up with a lot of cool parts, but yeah, this song was, it's when the success became a little more solidified. I think Not Ready to Go was like our introduction to everybody.
Yep.
And then when this song came out and was a hit as well.
That's when people started to really show up.
Well, now you're not a one-hit wonder.
It's also when we started to sell our own tickets. Like when Not Ready to Go was a hit, we were opening. We were opening for Big Sugar. We were opening for 3 Days Grace. We were opening for Nickelback. We were opening for Evanescence. We were opening Cheap Trick.
Yeah.
All these great tours.
We were all over the map. Like, because we didn't really care. Like we're from the East Coast. Like you play live. It's not about like how you're marketed for us. So one week we'd be opening for the Deers, and then we'd be opening for Evanescence, and like back then it was like Never the Twines Shall Meet, but we would be like, oh, we're here with Sam Roberts one night, who we absolutely love, and then the next night we're with Nickelback. But that was back in the day when everybody's like, oh, Nickelback's like, they were selling 1 million records, but everybody was like, they suck. Well, a lot of people love them, but and they were great guys, and we had great times opening for them, but we were never precious about who we played with. But
when that song hit, we put our first ever national headline tour on sale, and actually sold a few hundred tickets in every market for the first time, which was great.
One more here, because like if you're listening to rock radio in Southern Ontario, these are the big three, I think. You could tell me I'm wrong.
They're definitely the ones I hear quite a bit. They were all kind of written really close together. I mean, there was Tired and Not Ready to Go, and then this was the song that was our first kind of, we have to have a follow-up record. And we sent this one to Sony, who was going to distribute the record again. And they were like, oh, this is the one. So it's all just a blur, but cool. It's funny. I wrote this about my girlfriend at the time. And there was a night before we started to make it where none of her friends thought I was a good choice for her. So I had that "Don't listen to your stupid friend." And then when the song came out, a bunch of her friends like, oh my God, are we the stupid friends?
That's funny.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
In a cold October, cemetery blackbird flying on over. Where's this gonna take me? A mountain full of misery, careless abandon, all alone and empty. I feel love to take me home. She don't wanna live alone. I'm always out on the road, so she's leaving. Oh my God, please don't give in. Don't listen to your stupid friends. I'll keep him going off again. So she's leaving. Comfort me from all the wrong.
Yeah, it's hooky, like it's gonna be bouncing around my head. But I had Finger 11 on last week, so I was playing a lot of Finger 11.
Yeah.
And that I'm so paralyzed, I need to be struck by you. I can't get it out of my fucking head.
It's
like
very good.
It's an earworm.
We played with them over the summer.
That's a great
and
song.
we had nothing but respect for all those guys. We've been playing with them forever, but we shared a stage in Port Colborne this summer, and they closed with Paralyzer, and I watched from the side of the stage as like 20,000 people sang it, and I was like, oh no, we got to play next.
And that's an international hit. Like
International, and it's really powerful, and it's great.
I think Scott's got a wonderful voice, and I've always liked those guys. I like that they just do their thing, and they kind of throw everything into the mix and stuff, and I respect that.
And I love that, like you guys, they have new music, because that's when they're magically able to visit the basement here.
Yeah, so our new album's out. Just because we have to leave, I have to go pick kids up. But I do want to throw out that we're doing a Toronto show on the 6th, which is almost sold out, but I think we need that little mic bump.
Okay, so December 6th, where is it?
At the Danforth Music Hall.
Music Hall. And we're doing one at the London Music Hall on the 13th, and we're playing Niagara in January with that great Canadian bill. So
the trifecta there.
And then we're off, for those listening across the country, we're off to do a national tour early next year in January and February. So if you want to see us in Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, Regina, Winnipeg, Thunder Bay, all those shows are up now too. So
TheTrewsMusic.com is where you go to see where you can catch the Trews. And again, the new album is called The Bloody Light. I was going to play the title track, but I stole my 10 minutes. You offered me 10. I took them all. But guys, I love this.
Thank you. This was a great
so
chat.
much. It was great.
Really great.
And I didn't get I saw you wearing the Rolling Stones. I know you guys played on the same stage as the Stones.
We opened for the Stones.
We'll have to save it for next time.
Yeah,
The sequel?
you're going to have us back. You want to hear the Stones story.
Well, you don't have to twist my arm. That's another great hip song, Twist My Arm.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. We could probably do a podcast just about the hip.
I would do that.
Gladly.
And that brings us to the end of our 1,795th show. Go to TorontoMike.com for all your Toronto Mike needs. Much love to all who made this possible. Again, that's Retro Festive, Great Lakes Brewery. Don't forget your beer, guys. Palma Pasta. I got your lasagna in the freezer. Nick Ianni's. Kindling. Go to shopkindling.ca. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Blue Sky Agency and Ridley Funeral Home. See you tomorrow. It's toast. That means Rob Pruce, Burlington's own Rob Pruce from Spoons, and Bob Willett from Indie 88 here in the basement for an episode of Toast. See you then. We're going to get rolling on the live stream at 11:15 a.m. See you tomorrow.